Nira had always lived in the quiet village of Luma, nestled in the glowing forests of the planet Zelora. The trees shone with soft green and blue light, and the air was filled with the hum of strange, gentle creatures. Nira loved the calm of her home. She spent her days exploring the forest, learning the names of glowing plants, and listening to the whispers of the wind. Life in Luma was simple, peaceful, and safe. But Nira also had a secret fear. From a very young age, she had heard stories of humans. Elders spoke of their strength, their speed, and the power they could wield. They were said to be capable of great courage, but also dangerous when angry. Nira had never seen a human, but she had imagined them as giants with glowing eyes who could change the world with their hands. The thought of meeting one made her heart race. One quiet morning, Nira was walking along a river with smooth blue stones when a strange noise cut through the calm. The sound was like nothing she had ever heard. It was a low humming that grew louder and louder. Nira froze, her small heart beating faster. From behind the trees, she saw a sleek, silver ship descend from the sky. It landed carefully near the edge of the forest, stirring clouds of sparkling dust. The villagers gathered, staring in awe and fear. Nira stayed hidden behind a bush, peeking. Through the leaves, from the ship came a tall human with broad shoulders. His skin was pale, and his hair was dark and short. His eyes were calm, yet they seemed to observe everything at once. The human stepped down with a quiet confidence that made the villagers step back. Ren had traveled across the stars, visiting many worlds, but this one was new. He had come to learn, to observe, and to help where he could. He looked at the villagers and bowed slightly. Shown respect, the villagers whispered among themselves, unsure whether to greet him or run. Nira's fear grew, but so did her curiosity. She wanted to see what made humans so powerful. Ryan began walking toward the village center. He did not rush, but his every step seemed deliberate. He noticed broken bridges, toppled fruit trees, and tools left scattered in the yard. Without a word, he started helping, lifting logs and moving heavy stones that no alien could carry alone. The villagers watched in silence, astonished by his strength and careful hands. Nira could not believe what she saw. The stories were true, yet Ren seemed gentle. He smiled at a frightened child and helped her father carry a heavy crate of food. Nira felt a mix of emotions. Fear still clung to her chest, but a new feeling began to grow. She was amazed at the way Ren used his strength not to hurt, but to protect and build. She followed him cautiously, keeping to the shadows, watching how he treated the villagers with kindness. By the afternoon, Ren had helped rebuild the main bridge over the river. He had taught the villagers how to use pulleys to lift heavy stones safely. The villagers, who had always relied on magic or machines, were learning new ways to work with their own strength. Nira noticed that they were smiling, laughing even. The human was not frightening them. He was helping them grow stronger. Nira could not resist any longer. She stepped out from behind the trees. Ren turned and smiled warmly at her. His eyes were gentle, and he crouched slightly to appear less tall and intimidating. "Hello," he said. "What is your name?" Nira hesitated. Her voice was soft. "I am Nira," she said. She studied him closely. Every movement was careful, but she could see the strength in his arms and legs. She felt her fear return, stronger than before. "Are humans always so strong?" she asked, her eyes wide. Ren chuckled lightly. "We can be strong, but strength is not everything. We use it to help, to protect, and to learn. Fear does not make us stronger. Understanding does." Nira tilted her head, trying to understand. "You are different from what I expected," she said slowly. She had imagined humans as terrifying giants, but Ren seemed kind and thoughtful. Ren stood and offered his hand. "Would you like to show me your village?" he asked. Nira felt nervous, but curiosity overcame fear. She took a small step forward, then another, until she held his hand briefly. The warmth surprised her. Ren guided her gently through the village, asking questions about her life, the forest, and the glowing plants. As they walked, Nira realized that she was learning something new. Fear was not the only thing humans inspired. Their courage, intelligence, and care for others could be just as powerful. She found herself talking more freely with Rin than she had ever done with any alien visitor or elder. By evening, the villagers had gathered around a glowing fire. Rin helped them cook a simple meal, lifting heavy pots and stirring food with ease. Nira noticed how the villagers relaxed around him. Even the elders, who had been suspicious at first, smiled and shared stories with him. Nira sat quietly, watching Rin laugh with the children and help an elder carry firewood. She had never felt such a mix of fear and admiration. This human was strong, yes, but his strength made others feel safe. His presence changed the village already. When the fire dimmed and the stars appeared above, Nira found herself walking next to Rin. "I want to learn from you," she said quietly. "I want to understand humans better." Rin looked down at her and nodded. "And I want to learn from you, Nira. Your world is beautiful, and there is much I can learn here. Strength is not just what you can lift or throw. It is what you give to others." Nira felt a small smile form. She realized that her fear was slowly fading. She would still be careful, but now she wanted to watch, learn, and perhaps one day act as bravely as Rin. She had never imagined that meeting a human could feel this way. As night settled over the glowing forest, Nira and Rin walked together. Back to the center of the village, the villagers slept peacefully, knowing that the stranger with great strength was not a threat, but a friend. Nira felt a spark of hope and excitement. Something had changed in her heart. She knew that this encounter would shape her life forever, and that the story of fear, curiosity, and strength was only beginning. The forest whispered around them, soft light flickering across their path. Nira felt ready to face the future, no longer paralyzed by fear. She had seen the human strength and kindness, and she wondered what adventures would come next. The morning sun cast a warm glow over the village of Luma. Nira woke early, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Since Rin had arrived, everything seemed different. The villagers were happier, busier, and curious about the new ways he showed them to work and explore. Nira could not stop thinking about him. She remembered his calm eyes, his gentle smile, and the quiet confidence in his movements. She wanted to learn more from him, but a part of her still felt fear. That morning, Nira decided to follow Rin as he moved through the village. She watched him help the villagers carry heavy baskets of fruit, repair broken bridges, and even teach children how to build simple machines using the wood and glowing vines from the forest. Rin's strength was impressive, but what amazed Nira most was the patience he showed, even when a child dropped a basket. Rin smiled and helped them pick it up without a word of anger. As Nira walked quietly behind him, a sudden sound broke the calm. A deep growl echoed from the forest near the edge of the village. Nira froze. Her heart raced as she recognized the sound from her childhood stories. Wild beasts sometimes came from the forest, but they were rare. Still, when they attacked, they could destroy homes and hurt villagers. Rin stopped and listened. His sharp eyes scanned the forest. Nira felt fear rising in her chest. She wanted to run, but something inside told her to stay. She had already learned that Rin's strength could protect others. Yet the growl sounded dangerous even to him. Without hesitation, Rin began walking toward the noise. Nira hesitated but followed from behind, keeping low and moving quietly through the trees. Soon, they saw the beast. It was large, with scales that reflected the sunlight and claws sharp enough to tear through wood. Its eyes glowed red, and it let out another loud roar, shaking the ground beneath their feet. The villagers began to gather, shouting in fear. Some tried to run, but Rin called to them in a firm, calm voice, "Stay back, move to higher ground." His voice carried strength and authority. Nira noticed that even those who had feared him before now obeyed without hesitation. The beast charged toward the village, breaking trees and tossing rocks in its path. Nira's fear almost stopped her from moving. She wanted to hide, but Rin moved with purpose, standing between the beast and the villagers. He did not attack immediately. Instead, he observed, looking for weaknesses in the creature's movements. Then Rin acted. He ran toward the beast with incredible speed, jumping over fallen branches and ducking under swinging claws. He did not fight recklessly. Instead, he used careful strikes, targeting the creature's legs to slow it down without causing unnecessary harm. Nira watched in awe. His strength was amazing, but it was his intelligence and strategy that impressed her most. The beast swiped at Rin with its massive claws, but he dodged quickly. He used vines and rocks to block its path, guiding it away from the village homes. The villagers began to help under his instructions, forming a safe line and moving animals and children to higher ground. Nira realized that Rin's strength was not just in his arms and legs. It was in his ability to lead and protect Dot. At one point, the beast turned toward Nira. She froze, thinking this was the end. But Rin noticed instantly. With a swift motion, he ran between her and the beast. Lifting a heavy log and placing it in the creature's path, the beast stumbled slightly, giving Rin enough time to push Nira toward safety. She felt his hand steadying her and realized how calm and confident he was, even in danger. Rin then climbed a small hill and leaped onto the beast's back, using his balance and strength. He guided the creature away from the village. Nira gasped. She had never seen anyone move like that before. The villagers watched in silent amazement. The beast finally turned back into the forest, leaving the village unharmed. When the danger was gone, Rin returned to the villagers. He smiled and nodded. "At Nira, are you all right?" he asked. Nira nodded quickly, still catching her breath. Her fear was fading, replaced by admiration. She realized that humans could be strong, yes, but their courage and care were even stronger. The villagers cheered for Rin, and some came to thank him personally. Nira watched quietly, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. Rin did not boast or claim glory. Instead, he quietly helped villagers check for damage and guided them in repairs. Nira noticed how patient he was, even when the elders argued about what to do first. Later, Rin approached Nira. "You did well watching and learning," he said. "Fear is natural, but it can be a guide. It tells you where you need to be careful and where you need courage." Nira nodded, thinking about how she had frozen when the beast appeared. "I want to be brave like you," she said softly. Her eyes smiled. "Bravery is not the absence of fear. It is acting even when you are afraid. Today, you watched, you learned, and you saw how to act when it matters. That is the first step." Nira felt her chest swell with determination. She realized that fear was not something to hide from. It could teach her to pay attention, to prepare, and to grow. Rin had shown her that strength was not only about physical power but about intelligence, courage, and caring for others. That evening, as the sun set and the glowing trees lit up the village with soft light, Nira sat by the river, thinking about what had happened. She saw Rin helping villagers cook food and repair their homes. The villagers laughed and shared stories of the day's events, inspired by Rin's actions. Nira realized that one human had changed the way they saw the world. Nira knew that she wanted to learn from Rin. She wanted to understand not only humans, but the ways they could work with others to face danger and protect those who could not protect themselves. She knew it would take time, patience, and courage, but she felt ready for the first time. Nira did not hide her fear completely. She acknowledged it, studied it, and let it guide her. She had seen the power of strength used for good and the difference it could make. The day had been terrifying, exciting, and full of lessons. She felt a spark of hope that life in Luma could change for the better, and that she could grow stronger with Rin's guidance. As the stars appeared in the sky above, Nira walked back to Rin, who was talking with the villagers. She felt her fear fading completely. She no longer saw humans as frightening giants. She saw them as beings capable of incredible courage and kindness. Nira understood that their encounter had changed her, and it had changed the village. Nira looked at Rin and smiled quietly. "I want to learn more," she said. Rin looked at her and nodded, a warm smile on his face. "And I will teach you, Nira. Together, we can face whatever comes next." The glowing forest whispered around them as night fell. Nira felt ready for anything. Her fear had not disappeared, but it had become a guide. She knew that with courage, wisdom, and the right strength, she could face the challenges ahead. She was ready for the next adventure. The morning sun shone softly over the village of Luma, painting the glowing forest with golden light. Nira woke early, her heart still full of the excitement from the previous day. The memory of Rin's strength and courage filled her mind. She remembered how he had guided the villagers during the beast attack, how calm he had been, and how carefully he had used his power. She realized that strength alone was not enough. It was intelligence, patience, and care that made him extraordinary. Nira decided to approach Rin that morning. She found him near the edge of the village, helping an elder repair a wooden cart. His hands moved quickly and carefully, lifting heavy beams with ease. Rin noticed Nira watching and smiled warmly. "Good morning, Nira," he said. "Are you ready to explore today?" Nira hesitated, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Yes," she said softly. "I want to show you my forest and teach you about my home." Rin nodded. "And I want to learn from you. Let us walk together." They moved through the glowing trees, Nira pointing out plants and creatures she had known since childhood. She showed Rin the shimmering flowers that only opened in sunlight, and the small creatures that glowed in the dark. Rin listened carefully, asking questions and showing genuine interest. He was patient, never rushing her explanation. Nira noticed how different Rin was from the human she had imagined in stories. He was strong, yes, but he did not use strength to show power or scare anyone. Instead, he used it to help, to explore, and to understand. Nira felt her fear slowly fade as she walked beside him. "Your world is beautiful, Nira," Rin said as he touched a glowing vine gently. "The light, the plants, the creatures, they are unlike anything I have seen before. I can learn much from you." Nira felt proud. No one had ever spoken to her about her world with such respect. "There is much to learn," she said. "Sometimes humans do not see the small things, but everything here has a purpose. Even the smallest plant or creature can help someone survive or grow." As they walked deeper into the forest, Rin began to show Nira some of his own skills. He demonstrated how he could climb steep rocks, balance on narrow branches, and move quietly without disturbing the creatures. Nira was amazed by his agility and strength, but she also noticed how careful he was. He never damaged the forest, never harmed the creatures, and never acted recklessly. "You are very strong," Nira said quietly. "I was afraid of humans before, but you do not scare me. You are careful." Rin smiled. "Strength is not about frightening others. It is about knowing what to do and when to act. A strong hand can protect or destroy. I choose to protect." Nira nodded slowly. She had never thought of strength that way. She had always believed it was only physical power. Now she realized that strength could be wisdom, courage, and care combined. After walking for a while, they came to a small river. The water sparkled like liquid crystals, and strange fish swam beneath the surface. Nira taught Rin how to catch fish using special nets made from forest vines. Rin listened carefully and copied her movements. His hands were big, but he was gentle, careful not to harm the fish. "You are a fast learner," Nira said with a smile. Rin laughed softly. "I have seen many ways to catch food in different worlds, but your method is clever and kind. I can learn from you too." They spent the day exploring the forest together. Rin taught Nira how to move silently like the small creatures, how to read the forest paths, and how to notice signs of danger before it appeared. Nira learned quickly, her confidence growing with every step. She realized that humans were not just strong, they were adaptable, smart, and thoughtful. As the sun began to set, they returned to the village. The glowing trees reflected the warm colors of the evening sky, and Nira felt a sense of peace she had never known before. Rin walked beside her, talking about his travels to other worlds, the different cultures he had seen, and the lessons he had learned from other creatures. Nira listened intently, fascinated by his stories. That evening, Rin helped the villagers cook a simple meal by the fire. He lifted heavy pots and stirred food with ease, showing care and patience. Nira watched him and realized how much she had learned just by being near him. She understood that strength could inspire hope, courage, and trust in others after the meal. Nira sat with Rin near the river, the glowing water reflecting the stars above. "I want to learn more about humans," she said. "I want to understand how you think and how you use strength without fear." Rin looked at her kindly. "And I want to learn from you, Nira. Your world is full of wisdom. You see things that humans often miss. Together, we can learn from each other and become stronger in ways beyond physical power." Nira felt a spark of excitement. She realized that meeting Rin had changed her view of humans. They were not dangerous giants, but beings capable of kindness, courage, and wisdom. She felt a new sense of confidence and curiosity. That night, as the stars filled the sky and the glowing forest shimmered softly, Nira made a promise to herself. She would learn from Rin, and she would grow stronger, not just physically, but in courage, intelligence, and understanding. She wanted to be brave, not for the sake of power, but to protect others and to face challenges with wisdom and care. Nira knew that the bond she was forming with Rin would change her life. She would no longer see humans as creatures to fear. Instead, she would see them as allies, teachers, and friends. The encounter had opened a new path for her, one filled with adventure, learning, and growth. As she drifted to sleep that night, Nira thought about the forest, the village, and Rin's strength. She felt ready for the challenges ahead, ready to face danger with courage, and ready to explore the unknown. She had learned that strength without care was empty, but strength with wisdom could change the world. Nira's heart was full of hope. She knew that with Rin by her side, she could learn to be brave, clever, and strong in ways she had never imagined. The adventure of learning and growing together was only beginning, and she was ready to take the first step. The village of Luma was peaceful in the morning. Birds with shimmering feathers flew over the glowing trees, and the gentle hum of small creatures filled the air. Nira walked through the forest, picking soft fruit for breakfast, while Rin helped. An elder fixed a broken water channel. Everything seemed calm, and Nira felt the safety of the village wrap around her like a warm blanket. But calm did not last long. A loud, frightening noise echoed from the forest edge. It was a deep, growling sound, different from the usual animal calls. Nira froze. Her heart pounded as she recognized the sound from the stories her parents had told her. Wild raiders from another region sometimes attacked villages to take rare resources. They were not like normal creatures. They were clever, strong, and dangerous. Ian stopped what he was doing immediately. His sharp eyes scanned the forest. "Stay close to the villagers," he called to Nira. "Do not run into danger. Watch carefully and be ready to help where you can safely." Nira's legs trembled. Fear surged inside her, but she stayed close to Rin. She had learned to observe and understand before acting. Rin moved forward with calm determination, ready to protect the village. Soon, the raiders appeared. They were tall and strong, wearing strange armor that reflected the sunlight. Their leader shouted commands, and the group advanced toward the village, intending to take the glowing plants and other resources. Villagers screamed and scattered, unsure how to defend themselves. Nira clutched Rin's arm. Afraid but watching him closely, Ian stepped forward. His voice rang out firmly. "Back away. Move to the safe areas." The villagers obeyed immediately. Rin did not fight recklessly. He used his knowledge and strength to protect the villagers without hurting them unnecessarily. The raiders attacked with speed, throwing nets and swinging heavy clubs. Rin moved quickly, dodging attacks and using his strength to block paths. He lifted fallen logs and branches to shield children and elders, guiding them to higher ground. Nira watched in awe. Rin's actions were precise, careful, and brave. She realized that strength alone was not enough. It was how one used it that mattered. One of the raiders lunged toward a group of villagers. Rin acted instantly. He grabbed a large rock and blocked the attack, knocking the raider off balance. Then he ran to the other side, guiding villagers to safety. Nira felt her fear turn into admiration. Rin's calm and strategic actions were more powerful than the raiders' strength. The raiders were clever, but Rin was smarter. He observed their movements and predicted their attacks. He shouted instructions to the villagers, showing them how to use the forest to their advantage. Use the vines, move behind the trees. Stay together, he called. Nira followed his directions, helping children climb safely onto branches while Ren blocked the raiders with logs and rocks. During the fight, a young villager got trapped under a fallen branch. Nira hesitated for a moment, unsure if she could help, but Ren's voice guided her. Lift it carefully, you can do it. Nira pushed with all her strength and managed to free the child. She realized that courage was not the absence of fear, but acting despite it. Ren noticed Nira's bravery and nodded encouragingly. Good work, he said. You are learning quickly. Nira felt pride and excitement. Her fear was fading. She was beginning to understand what it meant to be brave. After a tense battle, the raiders finally retreated. Ren had protected the villagers without causing serious harm, and the raiders had been forced to leave empty-handed. The villagers cheered, amazed by Ren's strength and cleverness. Nira felt relief and happiness wash over her. The village was safe, and she had seen how human strength could be used for protection and courage. Once the danger had passed, Ren moved among the villagers, checking that everyone was safe. He helped the injured and reassured those who were scared. Nira followed him, offering water and helping carry supplies. She realized that bravery and strength were not just about fighting. They were about helping, guiding, and supporting others. In times of need, the elders approached Ren and thanked him. Nira noticed that even those who had doubted humans before were now respectful and trusting. Ren smiled humbly. I'm only here to help, he said. Strength is valuable when it protects others. Use your courage and intelligence together, and you will grow stronger than you know. Nira sat by the glowing river, thinking about the day's events. She had faced fear, observed courage, and even acted to help others. Ren had shown her the meaning of true strength. It was not about power or fear. It was about courage, care, and wisdom. That evening, Nira walked with Ren through the village. The villagers were repairing homes and bridges, sharing stories of the day's fight, and laughing despite the danger they had faced. Ren guided them, teaching them to work together, use their environment, and stay safe. Nira felt inspired. She wanted to continue learning from Ren and to grow stronger in every way. Nira finally spoke softly. I was so afraid today, but I also saw how brave you are. I want to learn to be brave like that. Ren looked at her with kind eyes. Bravery is not the absence of fear, Nira. It is acting when you are afraid, thinking carefully, and helping others. Today, you saw courage in action. Tomorrow, you can act too. Nira felt a spark of determination. She had learned that fear could guide her to pay attention, but courage and wisdom could guide her to act. Ren had shown her that humans were not only strong, but also thoughtful, brave, and caring. That night, the village gathered near the glowing fire. The elders praised Ren and thanked the villagers for their quick thinking and teamwork. Nira sat quietly, thinking about everything she had witnessed. She realized that the encounter with the raiders had changed her view of strength and bravery. She was no longer just afraid of humans. She saw them as beings capable of courage, wisdom, and protection. Nira knew that her journey with Ren was only beginning. She wanted to explore, learn, and grow. She wanted to understand humans and their strength, not to fear it, but to respect and learn from it. She knew that one day, she could act bravely and help others, just like our Iron Dot as the stars appeared above the glowing forest. Nira walked to Ren. I want to keep learning from you, she said quietly. Ren smiled and placed a hand on her shoulder. And I will teach you, Nira. Together, we can face whatever challenges come next. Today was only the beginning. The forest whispered around them, full of life and soft light. Nira felt ready. She understood that fear could be transformed into courage, and strength could be used for good. The village had survived because of teamwork, wisdom, and bravery. Nira felt proud and determined. She knew she would face the next challenge with courage, guided by Ren and the lessons she had learned. The village of Luma had returned to its calm routine after the raider attack. The glowing trees shimmered gently in the sunlight, and the hum of small creatures filled the air. Nira walked through the forest, gathering soft fruit for breakfast, her mind full of thoughts about the events she had witnessed. She remembered Rin's strength, his calm bravery, and the way he had guided the villagers to safety. She felt a mix of fear and admiration. Nira had learned something important. Fear could teach her to be careful, to notice danger, and to think before acting. Courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Today, she wanted to face small challenges to build her confidence, inspired by Rin's example. She found Rin near the edge of the village, lifting a heavy log to repair a broken bridge. His movements were careful and deliberate, yet full of strength. Rin looked up and smiled when he saw Nira. "Good morning, Nira," he said. "Are you ready to practice today?" Nira nodded, feeling both nervous and excited. "Yes, I want to learn how to be brave," she said softly. Rin's smile grew warmer. "Then let us begin." Rin guided Nira to a small clearing in the forest. He had prepared a few simple challenges to help her learn to act with courage. The first was climbing a small cliff. The cliff was not very high, but it required careful steps and balance. Nira hesitated at first, her fear of falling holding her back. Rin stood below, encouraging her. "Take it slowly," Rin said. "Focus on each step. You are capable." Nira took a deep breath and began. Her hands gripped the rocks, her feet searched for stable positions. Rin's calm presence gave her confidence. Step by step, she climbed higher. She stumbled once, but Rin's voice guided her, and she found her balance again. When she reached the top, she felt a rush of pride. "Good job, Nira," Rin said. "You faced your fear and succeeded. Remember this feeling. Courage grows each time you try." Nira smiled, realizing that the fear that had once paralyzed her could now be transformed into determination. The next challenge was moving silently through the forest without disturbing the creatures. Rin demonstrated first, showing how to place feet carefully, balance on uneven ground, and watch for signs of movement. Nira followed, trying to copy his movements. She nearly tripped several times, but Rin encouraged her gently. "Mistakes are part of learning," he said. "Keep trying, and you will improve." By the end of the exercise, Nira was able to move quietly among the glowing trees, avoiding disturbing even the smallest creatures. She felt proud of her growth. She realized that courage was not only about facing danger, but also about practicing patience and focus. After the exercises, Rin and Nira rested by the river. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and small fish swam beneath the surface. Rin looked at Nira and said, "You have learned quickly. Courage is more than strength. It is patience, care, and the willingness to act when it matters. You are becoming brave in many ways." Nira felt a sense of determination. She wanted to grow stronger, not to show off, but to help others and to face challenges with intelligence and care. She realized that Rin's strength was not frightening. It was a guide and a model for her own growth. The following days, Rin continued teaching Nira. They explored the forest together, learning how to recognize danger, how to use natural resources wisely, and how to work with the villagers to solve problems. Nira practiced lifting heavier objects, building small structures, and using her intelligence to plan safe paths through the forest. Each success made her more confident, and each failure became a lesson. One afternoon, while collecting fruit near a river bend, Nira slipped on a wet rock. She almost fell into the water, but Rin's quick reflexes saved her. He caught her arm firmly, steadying her. "It is okay," he said calmly. "Mistakes happen. What matters is that you learn and try again." Nira nodded, grateful for his support. She realized that even when fear returned, she could act with courage, especially with guidance and preparation. As Nira grew braver, she also began helping the villagers in small ways. She guided children through safe paths in the forest, helped elders carry supplies, and taught them some of the techniques Rin had shown her. The villagers noticed her growth and praised her efforts. Nira felt proud, understanding that bravery was not only about personal achievement, but also about helping others. One evening, as the stars appeared above the glowing trees, Nira and Ren sat together by the river. The water reflected the lights of the forest, creating a calm and magical scene. Nira spoke softly. I was so afraid when I first saw you, Ren. But now I understand more. Strength is not only about power. It is about courage, patience, and helping others. Ren nodded. Exactly, Nira. You have learned this well. Humans and aliens alike can use strength for good, but true courage comes from within. You are brave because you face your fear and act thoughtfully. That is more important than any physical power. Nira smiled. She felt a warmth in her chest, a sense of growth and confidence she had never felt before. She realized that fear could guide her to pay attention, but courage and wisdom could guide her to act. She wanted to continue learning, exploring, and growing with Ren by her side. The next morning, Nira woke early, feeling eager to practice again. She met Ren near the forest, ready for new lessons. Ren had prepared a series of small challenges designed to test her courage and intelligence. They practiced navigating through dense areas of the forest, identifying hidden dangers, and using natural materials to create tools. Each exercise made Nira stronger, more confident, and more aware of her surroundings. By the end of the day, Nira realized how much she had changed. She was no longer paralyzed by fear. She could face challenges calmly, think carefully, and act with courage. Ren had guided her, but her growth was her own. She understood that true strength combined courage, intelligence, and care for others. That evening, as they returned to the village, Nira felt a sense of accomplishment. She had learned to overcome fear, act bravely, and help others. Ren walked beside her, smiling quietly. You are ready for greater challenges, he said. One day, you will face dangers that require all your strength and courage. Today is just the beginning. Nira looked at the glowing forest, the sparkling river, and the peaceful village. She felt a spark of excitement and determination. She knew that with courage, wisdom, and guidance, she could face whatever came next. She was ready to grow stronger, to protect her village, and to learn more from Ren. The forest whispered softly around them, full of life and gentle light. Nira felt confident and hopeful. She had faced fear, learned courage, and discovered the meaning of true strength. She knew that the journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but she was ready. With Ren by her side, she could overcome anything and continue growing into the brave and wise protector she wanted to become. The sun rose over the glowing forest of Luma, casting soft light across the village. Nira felt a mix of excitement and nervousness that morning. Ren had promised that today she would face her greatest test so far. She had grown braver and stronger over the past days, but the idea of a real challenge made her heart beat faster. Ren met her near the edge of the forest. His calm eyes reassured her. Today, you will face a challenge that requires all the skills and courage you have learned. He said, remember, fear is natural, but courage comes from acting despite it. Trust yourself and think carefully. Nira nodded. She felt a spark of determination. She had trained for this day, learning to face fear, to act wisely, and to help others. She was ready to prove to herself what she could do. Ren led Nira deep into the forest to a clearing she had never seen before. There, in the center, was a creature much larger and stronger than any she had encountered before. Its scales reflected sunlight in brilliant colors, and its eyes glowed with intelligence. The creature moved with power and grace, and it let out a low, rumbling growl. Nira felt a shiver of fear, but Ren placed a hand gently on her shoulder. Do not be afraid, Ren said. Observe it first. Every movement tells a story. Every action has a reason. Use your mind, your courage, and your skills. Nira watched carefully. The creature was not attacking immediately. It seemed curious, testing her presence. She remembered Ren's lessons. Act with care, watch for signs, and use your strength wisely. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward, keeping her movements slow and deliberate. The creature made a sudden movement, but Nira stayed calm. She used a fallen branch to create a small barrier and moved cautiously to the side. Ren encouraged her quietly. Good, you are thinking and acting. Keep observing. Nira realized that fear could guide her to notice danger, but courage and intelligence could guide her to act. She remembered how she had helped the young villager during the raider attack, how she had climbed the cliff, and how she had moved silently through the forest. All these lessons were coming together now. The creature lunged suddenly, testing her reaction. Nira dodged and used her quick thinking to move behind a tree. She noticed the way it shifted its weight and decided to act. She reached for a glowing vine and created a simple trap that would slow the creature without hurting it. Ren nodded approvingly. "You are ready," Ren said. "Use your courage and your mind together. You can do this." Nira took a deep breath and moved carefully, guiding the creature into the trap. It paused, realizing what had happened, but did not attack. She had acted with intelligence, courage, and care. The creature looked at her, then at Ren, and seemed to understand that she was not a threat. For the next few hours, Nira practiced moving with the creature, learning its patterns, guiding it safely, and keeping both herself and the forest unharmed. Ren watched closely, offering advice and encouragement. "Observe, predict, and act wisely," he said. "Strength is important, but so is thought and care." By the afternoon, Nira had gained the creature's trust. She realized that true strength was not just in her arms, but in her mind and heart. Courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to face it while thinking clearly and acting with care. Ryan finally nodded. "You have done well, Nira. You faced your greatest challenge with intelligence, courage, and kindness. You have grown stronger in ways beyond physical power. Today, you proved your true strength." Nira felt a rush of pride and relief. She had faced fear, acted wisely, and helped others, even a creature much stronger than herself. She understood now that courage, care, and intelligence were the most powerful tools anyone could have. The creature, now calm, approached Nira and touched her gently with its head. Nira smiled, feeling a connection she had never imagined. She realized that trust and respect were part of strength. She had learned to act bravely, not recklessly, and to think carefully even in the face of danger. As they walked back to the village, Ren spoke. "Remember, Nira, this is only the beginning. Strength, courage, and wisdom will guide you through every challenge. You have learned to face fear, protect others, and act thoughtfully. These lessons will serve you for the rest of your life." Nira felt her confidence growing. She knew she had changed. Fear no longer controlled her. She had learned to act with courage, think carefully, and care for others. The lessons Ren had taught her were now part of who she was. Back in the village, the villagers had noticed the calm and strength in Nira's eyes. They greeted her with smiles and admiration. Even the elders nodded with respect, seeing how much she had grown. Nira realized that her growth was not only for herself, but for her village as well. She could now protect, guide, and inspire others. That evening, Nira and Ren sat by the glowing river, reflecting on the day. "I feel stronger," Nira said quietly. "Not just with my body, but inside. I understand fear, courage, and strength better than ever." Ren smiled. "You have learned well, Nira. True strength comes from combining courage, wisdom, and care. You have faced challenges bravely, thought carefully, and helped others. That is the mark of a true protector." Nira felt a warmth in her chest. She realized that she had grown not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. She had learned the most important lesson of all. Strength was not only in power, but in heart, mind, and courage. As night fell over the glowing forest, Nira looked at the stars above. She knew that more challenges would come, but she felt ready. With Ren by her side and the lesson she had learned, she could face anything. She had overcome fear, learned to act wisely, and discovered her true strength. Nira smiled quietly to herself. The journey was not over, but she was prepared. She was brave, smart, and caring. She knew that the forest, the village, and Ren had taught her lessons that would guide her for the rest of her life. The ultimate test had shown her that she was capable of more than she had ever imagined, and she felt ready for the adventures yet to come. The glowing forest whispered around them, Soft and alive, full of possibilities, Nira felt a deep sense of confidence and hope. She had faced fear, learned courage, and discovered the true meaning of strength. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but she was ready to face them, guided by wisdom, courage, and her growing inner strength. The morning sun painted the village of Luma in soft golden light. The forest shimmered gently, and the air was full of life. Nira woke with a feeling of excitement and calm. She had faced many challenges over the past days, and each had taught her lessons about fear, courage, and strength. Today felt different. She knew that her journey was reaching a new chapter. Rin was already near the village square, helping the villagers build new bridges and repair homes after the recent dangers. When he saw Nira approaching, he smiled. "Good morning, Nira," he said warmly. "Are you ready for today?" Nira nodded confidently. "Yes, Rin, I feel ready. I want to help the village and learn even more from you." Rin's smile widened. "Then let us begin. Today, you will put everything you have learned into practice." They started by walking through the village, observing tasks that needed attention. Nira helped guide villagers as they carried supplies, repaired homes, and gathered food. She moved with confidence and calm, remembering the lessons Rin had taught her. She noticed that her fear had faded. She acted with courage and care, thinking carefully before each move. As they worked, a distant rumble echoed through the forest. Nira paused, her senses alert. She remembered past dangers, the wild beast, the raiders. In the ultimate test with the large creature, Rin noticed her attention and nodded. "Stay calm," he said. "Observe first, then act wisely." A group of wild animals appeared near the forest edge. They were larger than normal and seemed hungry. The villagers froze in fear, unsure what to do. Nira took a deep breath. She remembered Rin's teachings: strength, courage, and care could solve even the most difficult problems. Rin stepped forward, guiding the animals with careful movements, ensuring they did not harm the village. Nira followed his example. She helped guide the villagers to safe areas, using her voice and actions to create paths for the children and elders. Her confidence was clear. The villagers looked at her with respect, realizing how much she had grown. The animals stopped Nira, clearing, hesitant to advance further. Nira remembered how she had used her mind and courage in the ultimate test. She found a few glowing vines and created a safe barrier to guide the animals away from the village. Rin watched silently, nodding in approval. The animals followed the path Nira had created, moving safely into the forest without causing harm. The villagers cheered quietly, amazed by her quick thinking and calm courage. Nira felt proud. She realized that strength was not only physical power, but also intelligence, courage, and care for others. After the animals had moved away, Rin and Nira walked through the village together. Rin spoke softly. "Nira, you have grown in many ways. You faced fear, acted bravely, and used your mind to protect others. You are no longer only learning, you are leading." Nira smiled, feeling warmth in her heart. She thought about how far she had come since the first day she met Rin. She had been afraid of humans, unsure of their intentions and strength. Now, she understood. Humans could be strong, yes, but their true power came from courage, care, and wisdom. The villagers began gathering near the village square. They wanted to celebrate their safety and the lessons they had learned. Nira stood beside Rin, feeling proud to be part of this moment. The elders spoke about teamwork, courage, and the importance of learning from each other. Nira realized that the village had changed. It was stronger, wiser, and more united than before. Later, Rin took Nira to the forest edge. The sunlight filtered through the trees, creating dancing shadows on the ground. "Nira," Rin said, "your journey has only just begun. You have faced challenges and learned courage, but there is more to explore. The world is large, and there are many lessons ahead." Nira looked at the forest, feeling excitement and readiness. "I understand, Rin. I want to continue learning, growing, and helping others. I want to face challenges with courage, just like you taught me," Rin nodded, "and I will guide you. Together, we can face any danger and learn from every experience." Strength is not only in our bodies, but in our hearts, minds, and the choices we make. As the day ended, the villagers gathered for a small celebration. Lanterns hung from glowing trees, casting warm light over the square. Children laughed, elders smiled, and everyone shared stories of courage and teamwork. Nira felt a deep sense of belonging. She realized that she was no longer just a young alien girl afraid of humans. She was a protector, a learner, and a friend. Rin stood beside her, watching the villagers. You have changed, Nira. Not just yourself, but everyone around you. Courage inspires, care strengthens, and wisdom guides. You have learned the most important lessons of all. Nira looked at Rin with gratitude. Thank you for teaching me, Rin. I understand now. Strength is more than power. It is courage, care, and wisdom. I want to continue growing and helping others. The forest whispered softly around them, full of life and gentle light. Nira felt ready for the future. She knew that challenges would come, but she would face them with courage, intelligence, and care. The lessons Rin had taught her would guide her forever. As the stars appeared above the glowing trees, Nira made a quiet promise to herself. She would continue learning, growing stronger in heart, mind, and courage. She would protect her village, help those in need, and face danger without fear. She knew that her journey had only just begun, but she felt ready for whatever lay ahead. The night settled peacefully over the village of Luma. The glowing trees lit the paths, the river sparkled, and the villagers rested safely. Nira stood beside Rin, feeling a sense of pride, courage, and hope. She had faced her fears, learned from every challenge, and discovered the true meaning of strength. Nira looked at Rin and smiled. I'm ready for the next adventure, she said quietly. Rin smiled back. And I will be there with you, Nira. Together, we can face anything. The glowing forest hummed softly, full of life and possibility. Nira felt confident and inspired. She had learned courage, care, and wisdom. She had learned to act bravely despite fear. She had learned the true power of strength. The young alien girl had grown into a protector, a thinker, and a friend. The human beside her had shown her a path of courage, care, and wisdom. Together, they had changed the village and themselves. The journey ahead was full of unknowns, but Nira felt ready. She knew she could face anything with courage, intelligence, and heart. And so, a new chapter began for Nira, the young alien girl, and Rin, the human who had taught her the meaning of true strength. Their bond was strong, their courage unwavering, and their hearts full of hope. The village of Luma was safer, stronger, and united. Nira knew that whatever the future held, she was ready to meet it with bravery, wisdom, and care.